please, don't joke with me." Those were the words that fell from a tired single father's mouth when a powerful millionaire CEO stopped him in front of a crowd and called out his name. Everyone thought it was a joke, a cruel one, because men like him didn't get noticed by people like her. But that day, kindness was about to flip the world upside down. Before we begin, take a quick second to support the channel. Subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more real, meaningful stories like this to you, here on your channel name. Now let's begin. The main story: Daniel Carter woke up every morning before the sun. Not because he wanted to, but because life gave him no choice. At 35, Daniel was a single dad raising his 8-year-old son, Noah, in a tiny rented apartment on the edge of town. The walls were thin, the heater barely worked, and the fridge was never full. But one thing never changed: Daniel's love for his son. Every morning he tied Noah's shoes carefully, packed him a simple lunch, and walked him to the bus stop before heading to work. Daniel worked 2 jobs. One was as a cleaner in a downtown office building at night. The other was a part-time warehouse shift in the early mornings. He was always tired, always worried, but he never complained. Noah was his world. One rainy afternoon, Daniel stopped at a small grocery store after work. His paycheck was late again, and he carefully counted bills in his hand, trying to decide what he could afford. Bread, milk, eggs. That was it. Ahead of him in line stood a woman in a sharp black coat. She looked confident, calm, powerful. People whispered when she walked in. Daniel didn't know it yet, but her name was Evelyn Monroe, the CEO of a multi-million-dollar tech company. When the cashier rang up Daniel's items, the total was higher than expected. His face burned red as he checked his wallet again. He was short by $5. "I'm sorry," Daniel said quietly. Can you remove the eggs?" Before the cashier could respond, a calm voice spoke up. "I've got it." Daniel turned, startled. The woman in the black coat stepped forward and placed her card on the counter. Daniel shook his head immediately. "No, please, I can't." "It's okay," she said gently. "Really." Reluctantly, Daniel accepted. He whispered a thank you, his voice tight with emotion. Evelyn nodded, smiled softly, and walked away without another word. That should have been the end of it. But for Evelyn, it wasn't. That night, Evelyn couldn't sleep. She had everything: money, success, respect. But something about that man stayed with her. The way he tried to stay strong, the way he didn't want pity, the quiet dignity in his eyes. A week later, Evelyn visited the office building late in the evening to review renovations. As she stepped off the elevator, she saw a familiar face pushing a cleaning cart down the hallway. It was Daniel. She stopped walking. He didn't recognize her at first, focused on his work. When he finally looked up, his eyes widened. You're the woman from the store." Evelyn smiled. "And you're the guy who wouldn't let me pay for eggs without arguing." Daniel laughed awkwardly, embarrassed. "I'm sorry about that." "No need to be," she replied. "What's your name?" "Daniel." From that night on, Evelyn started visiting the building more often. Officially, it was for business. Unofficially, it was to talk to Daniel. They spoke during his breaks, about life, about Noah, about how Daniel's wife had passed away years ago from illness, leaving him alone with a baby and a mountain of responsibility. Evelyn listened, truly listened. No phone, no distractions. People began to notice. Office staff whispered. Security guards stared. Some even laughed quietly. Why would a billionaire CEO spend time talking to a janitor? One evening, Evelyn waited for Daniel near the lobby. When he saw her standing there, well-dressed and confident, surrounded by employees, he froze. She walked toward him and said, loudly, "Daniel, can I talk to you?" Every eye turned. Daniel swallowed hard. His hands trembled. "Please, don't joke with me," he whispered. "Everyone's watching." Evelyn's expression softened, but her voice remained steady. "I'm not joking." She turned to the crowd. This man works harder than anyone in this building. He raises a child alone. He shows up every day with kindness, even when life has given him nothing but reasons to be bitter. The room fell silent. Daniel felt his chest tighten. He didn't know whether to cry or disappear. Evelyn continued, "Daniel, I want to offer you a job." Gasps filled the room. "A job?" he repeated, confused. "Yes," she said, "in my company. With training, with benefits, with hours that let you be there for your son." Daniel shook his head slowly. "I don't think I'm qualified." Evelyn smiled. "Kindness, honesty, and perseverance don't come with resumes. We'll teach you the rest." Tears streamed down Daniel's face. For the first time in years, he felt seen. Weeks later, Daniel started his new job. Life didn't magically become perfect, but it became lighter. He could attend Noah's school events. He could sleep. He could breathe. But Evelyn didn't stop there. One afternoon, she visited Daniel's apartment. She saw the peeling walls, the broken heater, the mattress on the floor. That night, she quietly arranged something. A month later, Daniel received a letter saying his rent had been paid for a year. No signature. Just a note that read, "Kindness grows when it's shared." Daniel knew exactly who it was from. Over time, something else grew between them. Not rushed, not forced, just real. Evelyn admired Daniel's strength. Daniel admired her heart. At a company event months later, Evelyn stood on stage and shared Daniel's story, without shame, without labels. "Kindness isn't about power," she said. "It's about recognizing humanity." The applause was endless. Daniel stood in the crowd with Noah beside him, his son gripping his hand. "Daddy," Noah whispered, "you're my hero." Daniel smiled. Through tears,